Great. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Mark O'Brien. I'm the head of business development here at CM First, and I'd like to invite everyone to our webcast today, which is going to be concerning automated testing using robotic process automation, or RPA. Um, we are this would be automating repetitive tasks for high efficiency. I'm joined today with Roger Hammer, who's our director at CM First of Software Development and Services, as well as Maya Nadger, senior consultant, who will be performing a live demonstration. Now, many of you on the call might be familiar with us, but if you have been to a webinar before, you know we always start off with a polling question. So question number one for the webcast today is, does your organization or is your organization use automated software testing tools? So interesting. So 3/4 of you are not using. That's interesting. We've had some other polls that have been closer to 50-50. But anyway, I hope that that you'll get several really good takeaways from today's webcast. A little in the meantime, we've got we'll go back to the presentation and tell you a little bit about who CM First is. You might not be familiar with us. So CM First Group has been around since 2010. We're headquartered in Austin, Texas. We also have an affiliate office for EMEA in France, and we have development centers near shore in Honduras and also in Vietnam. We partner with major partners on the IBM I and Z platform, including IBM as well as Broadcom, which used to be CA Technologies, PTC, and Embarcadero. We've helped over 400 enterprises since the year 2010, and primarily, as I said, on the IBM on the mainframe or the distributed IBM platforms. And below you can see some of our customers, small sample of them as well too. At this point, I'm going to turn the presentation over to Roger, who's going to give you some background on RPA, as well as, and then introduce Maya as our doing a live demonstration.
All right, so today's webinar is about robotic process automation, specifically around the automated testing, software testing processes, and how you can use RPA to automate testing. And we're focusing on Fortra's Automate product, which is a product that we work with regularly, and we'll share some best practices. So what are the benefits of RPA? And this is a little broader than just testing, but overall, you're going to gain a lot of efficiency if you use RPA and build that into your organization's tasks, particularly around process automation, but certainly test automation. Rather than doing lots of manual work, you can automate that, run it at any time of day, reducing the number of errors. Obviously, humans, we all make errors, and RPA, once it's completely built and tested, it should run consistently the same over time. The other thing is getting an audit trail without having to build, documents yourself, right? Having the automated output that's going to provide the audit information to show what got tested and when and how it passed or failed. The agility of the organization, freeing people up from some of those mundane tasks and giving them more time to focus on high value tasks. That's going to give you the agility and also the better use of your people. Yeah, we're going to increase employee engagement. Obviously, like I said, take away those mundane tasks, make sure folks are engaged in high value and maybe more interesting tasks day to day, and giving customers faster information. So if you're automating processes that are customer facing, the automation is going to give them really quick responses and the answers they need through that automation. Of course, also the process of going about building robotic process automation gives you the opportunity to work through and make sure you standardize that process that you're going to automate, so you know exactly how it's going to work each time and provide that same result each time. Of course, you can have various inputs that would drive different paths in the process, but again, you're going to have very consistent processing through those paths. And then, of course, business continuity. There are options to use RPA for business continuity, helping to manage, downtime and making sure that your organization is prepared when any events may happen. So, we're going to focus in on software, but just to comment, right? Obviously, if you're a banking related organization, lots of opportunities there in healthcare, customer service, really great area to do work, particularly around the idea of self-service, customer service, any kind of documents that need to be processed. In fact, we're going to kind of touch on some document processing functionality today at the end. But insurance claims, obviously banking kinds of documents, e-commerce, automating websites, which is in some ways what we're doing, either websites or software in general. That's what we're doing for doing automated functional testing. So obviously you can use that same capability to run your websites and to enable automation there. And then, of course, government or HR process. So onboarding is another really good area to use RPA to automate the process of making sure your new people have what they need quickly as they come on board. And then, of course, we're going to focus in today on software functional testing. You can also use this for load testing or performance testing with the appropriate tools. So, why use RPA, right? So maybe it's obvious, but manual software testing, human-based testing is going to be expensive comparatively. It's going to take a lot of time, and it is a boring task. If it's repetitive and continuous, people need to do those same tests over and over. It can, because it's boring, it can also cause sometimes errors that get made or overlooking certain issues and may not be consistent, for example. And automating the process can get you into a continuous integration, continuous deployment, DevOps process that can be very efficient and also very accurate and repetitive process. So those benefits, improving the accuracy, making sure that you've got accurate, reliable results, getting you to the market faster because you can do that testing over and over quickly. It's going to give you the answers you need so that you can focus on getting those new versions of software out quickly. It's going to cut your costs, of course, and it's going to increase potentially your test coverage because you're going to focus people on developing more tests rather than running those same tests over and over. And they'll be run more quickly and more continuously. Again, obviously using your team in a more productive way, building tests, doing the development. It is very flexible and very scalable. We'll talk a little bit later about, we typically get a question around, how do we use this or how does it work in our organization? So the scalability is important all the way from the desktop to enterprise. And it can be used in a lot of different situations. We're going to show you some green screen. We use automate on web applications. We use it on desktop client applications. So all those different scenarios are very possible. And of course, even testing, if you have APIs, and we'll show you some of that today also. And then of course, giving you the ability to report on the results, giving you analytics out of the process is an important aspect. So our approach is really an engineered solution. So we have an extension to automate that we use to extract information from applications. So we have data inputs to speed that development and make sure that the output is used for all the different processing that needs to take place. The test path definition is part of the process. We can easily use that information to utilize the inputs to define those test paths. And then because of that, it's very standardized. and extendable through the process. So what are those steps? We identify the testing scenarios and create the test data. And then from there, we're able to develop the scripts themselves, which is pretty quick once you have that data out of the application. And then you can configure and the test environment, begin executing testing. And then if you have a CI/CD pipeline, you can integrate there with it. And then you're going to monitor and maintain your RPA bots. And of course, over time, you're going to measure the performance. What are you getting from it, and do you need to optimize or add additional tests? So we're going to talk about Automate from Fortra. And so just a few areas and reasons why we recommend it. It is a very easy to use application set. It is drag and drop, so you can utilize the capabilities quickly and easily. It's not a programming environment per se. It gives you the ability to interact with the application while you create the scripts. It is flexible, powerful. It gives you lots of pre-built components, so you don't have to build every piece of it. It gives you those components and for multiple platforms, including, as we say, their IBMI platform. You can go directly to a database through APIs, ODBC. You can manage events and tasks. Keep in mind, this RPA is built for lots of process automation, and it can do all kinds of coordination. So you can actually run multiple software applications at the same time or through the entire process. It can run multi-machine, can simulate lots of user interaction. It does have, and we'll talk a little bit about an aspect of that includes machine learning today. And it also has, of course, credential management, and it is very enterprise capable. Kind of overall, it's low cost overall, and it's very simple to implement and use. All right, we're ready for our next poll question.
Roger, thank you for that introduction. And that's what you can see, we've really extended the Fortra capabilities in automated testing. Our next question is, what types of applications do you need to test? 3/4 of people indicated that they're doing desktop, client, server, and or web applications, and then some green screen, and then no other. So that's interesting. Is that in line with what you're expecting, Roger?
Yeah, I think so. I think obviously there's a lot of people with green screen still out there, but coming from our customer environments, CA2, ECA, Plex, you're going to see desktop client situations, right, along with lots of web capabilities. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll drop off and we'll move into the demo portion of our presentation today. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Maya Najjar, and we are going to see together 3 examples. For those who attended our previous RPA webinar, you will notice that I have added a couple of new items in today's session that I believe that you will find interesting. Let us start by seeing our examples. For our first example, I will dive into a compact yet impactful demonstration that revolves around data entry automation. This scenario will serve as a perfect starting point to showcase the capabilities of RPA. What's more, I will be conducting a live demonstration, taking you through the step-by-step process of building this data entry automation workflow. Next, I will give you an overview on the automated testing framework that was built by CM First, run a script that we have developed, and check this testing scenarios outcomes. And in the end, we will go over the script that was written behind. Finally, I will give you a short demonstration about automate intelligent capture. So let us begin by seeing our first example. For my first example, I will use this CSV file as an input file, which, as you see, is a delimited by comma, and the first record holds the column headings. As for the remaining records, it holds the data that I need to insert. What my task actually will do is access a 5250 screen, set certain comments in order to access my menu option, then grab the CSV file, put the data into a dataset, loop this dataset, and for each record read, then I will insert this record into my menu option. Keep in mind that even generating this CSV file can be done and generated automatically by Automate. Let us say that this data exists into a certain database. What we can do through Automate, access your database, grab the data, extract the data, and put it into a CSV in order to be processed. Another example I would think of is, let us say that on a daily basis, you receive an email with a spreadsheet inside with the following data. What we can do is monitor your email. If you received an email from sender X and with title, let's say XYZ, then in that case, we can download that document attached and in order to process it. Another example, let us say that this data resides into a certain web page. What we can do is access this web page, interact with it, and extract the needed data. Additional example would be call certain APIs in order to grab the whatever data we need. A lot of scenarios, I'm only stating a couple of them in order to give you an idea. So let me first run my first example. You will see on the right side from the screen the step that Automate is currently performing. So let me it accessed the 5250 screen, started adding the different comments, access the menu option, start adding the data that I have in my CSV file. And as you will see, it's a very fast process. And with RPA in place, errors while doing data entry is impossible. So let me right now end this task in order to have the time to proceed with other items. Let me first introduce you to Automate. This is the SMC. SMC stands for Server Management Console, which is a graphical interface where yes, you can maintain automate elements, which are the workflows, your tasks, users, the bots, certain server settings, and of course, Automate can provide you several reports. Let me state a couple of them. The task result, task duration, you can look at this right in here. Let me start by showing you the task builder. This is a task builder. This is actually the place where yes, the magic, you can write your scripts, your sequence of steps. On the right side, you can see a large list of pre-built actions. Actually, there are more than 600 pre-built actions right in here, ready for you to use, and all those actions you can automate. And in the middle right in here, it's the place where yes, you can write your series of tasks that you need Automate to generate. And right in here, you can see the output. Whenever you run your task, you can see the output and expect variables whenever you run your task. How to use those actions is by simply dragging and dropping this task into here and setting several parameters, and that's it. Of course, automate provide you the possibility to say whenever this action ended abnormally, what you need to do. There are multiple options that you can specify how many times you can retry this action, or you can specify if you need to perform another action, or by simply specifying whether you need to stop this task, continue to next step, etc. Let us now see the code that was written behind this task that you have seen. Okay, so first, what I have done, you saw that I ran a 5250 screen. In order to do that, what I have done is I use the run task action in order to set my command that will open the 5250 screen. Then next step was grabbing the CSV file and convert it into a dataset. In order to do that, I have used the read from a file system and convert it to a dataset, whereas I precised for Automate to create a new dataset, which is person data. And here I specified two more items, which are, you saw that my CSV hold the column heading is the first row. That's why I specified here treat first line of data as column header. Then I specified that the delimiter for that CSV file is comma. Now I have the CSV file converted to a dataset. What I told right in here, Automate, is to wait for 1 second, because as you know, processing those tasks is very easy. And that's why I told Automate to hold on for 1 second before proceeding to the next steps. Now I have the 5250 screen opened. I need to tell Automate, okay, grab the mouse and put it on the command line. In order to do that, I use the move mouse to object and specified the 5250 screen. How I can do that? I do not have to like populate here manually the windows. What I can do is press the magnifier right in here, select the window, and Automate will automatically take the needed information, the needed parameters, set them into here, and that's it. Next, click left mouse. Now we have set the cursor down. What we need to do next is send keystrokes with the needed comments. And that's what I have done. I use the send keystroke action and set the comment that I need to do. Once I accessed the menu, the next step, I told Automate, okay, you need now to loop this data set that I have created with the data inside the CSV. I use for that the loop dataset action, precise the dataset, and then what I told Automate in this case, I need you to grab the info from this dataset. How I have done that, I send a keystroke, and then in the keystroke here, I precise that you need to grab the first name from the first record from this dataset that we have created and put it on the first field, and so on. Then I grab the last name, so on, until I populated all the fields. Once I am done with all the fields, I move to the next record by incrementing one to this variable. And once I end inputting all the records, I told Automate to do the sign off by sending keystroke F3 and a 90. And that's it. As you see here, we use like 6 to 7 different actions. You will need like 3 to 4 minutes to build this task. And as you see, you can automate data entry with ease. Let me now continue with our second example. What I want now to do is I want to dive into the automated testing framework. As you see here, we have succeeded to build an automated testing framework, which consists actually from two big parts. The first part is building the testing scenarios, and the second part is executing those testing scenarios. Let us see the different steps that we followed in order to build our framework. For our first step consisted of downloading the list of functions and controls from models that we have modernized. Then, and since we are aware that building testing scenarios can be a daunting process, that's why we have developed a tool to help the user build testing scenarios with ease by simply defining the series of steps that Automate should follow, of course, using the functions and controls that we have extracted in step number 1. Let me show you a little bit of details on the tools that we have developed. Like we said, in order to build our testing scenarios, we will need to create a series of steps that Automate needs to follow in order to automate your testing scenario. Actually, what you need to do whenever you define a certain step is attaching a certain action on a certain object, or in this case, a certain control ID. Let us say that in this step, in this particular step, you need Automate to, whenever he comes to a certain function, to search for button F9 add, and then push that button. So how we can do that is by simply specifying the function name. Once we specify the function name, a list of all the controls that exist into this function will appear. All what we have to do is select the needed control ID, in this case the F9 add, and then press the use control for step. Then this window will appear, whereas you will need to specify the step sequence, small description about this step, and assign a certain action to this control ID, which is, in this case, the button selection. And that's it. By repeating creating those steps, and once you confirm that all your steps are correct and with the correct order, that's when you can export your testing scenario to CSV. And that's it. Now we have the CSV file generated. That does mean that we have all the input files needed in order for Automate to process. How he will process them is via triggers that we have created via Automate. Those triggers will grab those input files and process them. We have created several scripts that were written via Automate in a way to process each CSV file created, going sequentially through each step. Those scripts have been carefully engineered to cater to a wide range of testing scenarios, taking into consideration every possible action that might have been set while building the testing scenarios in step number 2. While processing those files, let me tell you that comprehensive reports and image capture will be generated, documenting the testing outcomes and providing visual evidence of the executed actions. The generated logs will be automatically sent via email, and messages will be sent to predefined, pre-selected phone numbers. So let us see together this example. First, let me show you the 2 testing scenarios that I have prepared in order to for Automate to process. My first testing scenario is this one. As you see, it's a CSV file delimited by comma, which hold for the first record the column heading. What I have precised in this input file is the control ID, as you see here. This is the control ID, and then the action. And of course, after the action, there are several parameters that we needed in order to process those cases. What this file will do is access a certain menu option, then push the button F6 add a new record, confirm the addition, then select back this record, make a certain change to the data, confirm as a change, and then select back this newly added record and delete it. Let us now see the second file created. For the second file, testing scenario, what we will do is access again another menu option, select the first record, make a certain change to the data, and then after confirming the change, what we will do is press a certain button that will download a PDF, save as this PDF and put it in a certain folder and exit. Let me run this task. Again, you will see the step that Automate is performing. He accessed this website, set the username and password, selected the menu option account, and then what it did, it pushed the add button, set RP, enter, and then put additional data, the accounting number and account description, and then pressed OK. Once done, he confirmed the addition, then pressed the exit button. Then he will select back this added record and do edit, try to change the data in accounting number and press OK, confirm yes, and select back this added record and then deleted it. Now he finished processing the first testing scenario. He will proceed with the next one, which is whereas he will access the person menu option, select the first record, make a change, press OK, confirm the change, and then right in here, he will select the view application PDF. Okay, push the green button, which will download that PDF, and save as, put the path as I gave him in the CSV file. An error message here will appear since this file already exists. We'll press yes, and that's it. Once he finished processing those two files, he will rename the files, whether if everything went okay, he will rename the file by success, the name of the file and timestamp. If it failed, it will rename the log file by failed name of the file and timestamp. Those are the logs that will be created for each file, and then there is a log that will be created for the whole task. And then he will send emails. Right in this example, I will send the email for myself, and I will send to myself also an SMS stating that the process of this file ended completed successfully. So let us see together the outcome of this run. As you see here, we have, not here. Okay, so this is my task. This is the logs file. As you see here, 3 log files were created. As we said, one it will be for the whole task. What is stating, what I have put right in here is the timestamp, an info message that this task was started at this time, and then another information message which is stating that we have started processing the first file and it ended normally. Then we started processing the second file and it ended normally. And in the end, I'm stating that the tasks have ended, and I'm mentioning right in here the time that elapsed for this task to process. The second log file will be per file. So we have here 2 files. That's why we have 2 logs. Since both of them ended normally, that's why I renamed the log file by success and the name of the file and timestamp. As you see here, this is the timestamp and info message that processing for this file have started and it ended. Since there is no error, you will not see any error message. And let me show you one that was failed. Like in this case, I am mentioning that there is an error. The field population of this control ID was not processed because there I didn't automate didn't find this control ID in that function. Now we have seen the logs. Let me tell you that while processing the files, we are offering the capability to make a certain image capture in order to provide the user better understanding of what happened. So in this case, not when I ran this task, but priorly when I ran this task, I had a problem which stating that the service is unavailable. That's why Automate took a screenshot and save it in this folder. And you saw that while processing this file, I have downloaded the PDF. Here is the PDF that I have downloaded. And let me show you that in the end, we said that we provide, we can send emails to the concerned people in order to inform them with the outcome of the process of these testing scenarios. As you see here, we have an email that was sent to myself. Okay, and I want to show you one more thing, that we are able to send a SMS to certain phone numbers. What I used here is an API. This API, I grabbed it from Twilio, which will send SMS. In this case, I sent the SMS to myself. And I have set right in here, the file was successfully processed. Let us see together and very quickly the script that was written behind. So first step, we have created here several variables. As a first step, what I have done is I opened a URL, whereas I specified the URL, set the username, password, and logged in. Once I logged in, I created a data set. I'm informing Automate that, okay, as you mentioned, I mentioned here that in this folder, I have the input file, whereas I am setting all the testing scenarios that I need to process, right? So what I'm telling here, automate, is grab all the files inside this folder and put them into a data set. Why? I will tell you why. So let me show you. So I use get files information and I precise the folder name and put them into a data set. Once this is done, I'm telling automate, look this data set, and for each file found, check the file extension. If the file extension of that file is .csv file, that in this case, I need you to grab all the data from that CSV file and put it again into another data set. So here I am doing, of course, I am putting some logs into my log file right in here. What I am doing right in here is reading the CSV file and put the data into a data set like the one we saw earlier. And then I am looping this data set. And for each record, I am checking the action. And depending on the action, I am proceeding. So if the action is menu option, I'm telling automate, okay, go fetch this menu option and press it. In case of keyboard action, send keystroke with this value. In case of field population, go find this field and set this value into this field. In the end, when I end processing this testing scenario, what I am doing is I am renaming the log files. In case of I found any error while processing this file, I'm renaming it by a fail and then the name of the file and timestamp. And if in case of success, I'm renaming it by success and the name of the file and timestamp. In the end, I'm sending an email in here to myself, whereas I specified the text of the body right in here, and I said as attachment this file, okay? And I want to mention right in here that I have used the call of an API in order to send the SMS. So how I did that is first I defined an HTTP session, whereas I set the API URL and I defined the username and password. Then what I have done is simply choosing this post action, whereas I specified the predefined connection, and then I set the text that from this phone number to this phone number, and the body should include file successfully processed, which you saw right in here. File successfully processed. And that's it. So let us now proceed with our demonstration for AIC. But before that, let me share with you one thought. We all know that one of the most common functions within an organization is invoice processing, which includes a series of tasks that starts when an invoice is received from a vendor and finish when this invoice is paid and recorded within the company's general ledger. Also, it's a critical and sensitive process. Also, it's one of the most time-sensitive tasks and the most repetitive tasks. Why I'm telling you this? Because I am going to talk right now about AIC. What is AIC? AIC is an advanced intelligent capture software that simplifies documents processing by eliminating manual classifications and analysis, data entry, and sorting. What's special about AIC? It automates data extraction from forms, add AI and machine learning to RPA, have robust classification and categorization engine, have automatic data extraction and routing. Let us see now the flow that AIC would follow in order to process any document that we will provide. Of course, as a first step, we need AIC needs to import the documents. AIC have multiple document import options. Let me state few of them, like he can access your scanner to grab the document, your email. He can access the document from a monitored folder, etc. Once the import is done, the next step will be classify. The classification engine uses artificial intelligence to classify and separate forms. Once the classification is done, the next step would be capture, using custom machine learning algorithm in order to capture the needed data. Now we have captured the data. The next step would be the validation. Automate intelligent capture applies data validation parameters, and then after the validation, the verify. Easily correct any exception fields that were not extracted properly. Let me state here that AIC is intelligent enough to learn from how a user can interact with correcting those exception fields and apply what he learned on while processing all the other documents. We will see that shortly. In the final step will be the export. Automate intelligent capture provides multiple data element export paths, including CSV files, XML files, direct database connection via ODBC or GDBC, etc. Let me show you a quick demonstration about how AIC will work. So right in here, we are creating a batch while selecting one single invoice, right? And we submitted it. Once we submitted it, AIC starts its work, the flow that we have talked about. So he proceeds with the different steps. Once he arrives to the verification, we will be able to open those documents in order to verify whether he correctly grabbed the needed info, yes or no. So right in here, we open the document, and as you see right in here, he almost have all the data correct, right? But if you see right in here, the vendor, he missed that. And then for the description, we will see that he grabbed only 2 records, whereas he would have selected 4 records from here. How we can teach AIC to grab the needed, the correct info, let us see. So we clear the column. We only select the 4 records, and that's it. Now AIC learned that he needs to grab the description from those 4 records, and he applied it for all the records. And then for the vendor, we selected Grenier, and that's it. Now he learned how to grab those 2 fields, and now we are going to create a batch with 6 different invoices. AIC start doing his steps. Once he arrives to the verification, if we open those documents, we can see that he grabbed all the information needed correctly. He learned from the steps that we have done, and all the other data collected were correct. And that's it. Thank you for listening, and back to you, Roger. Thank you.
At this point, we have another question we asked the audience, which is called Mint. And M, basically specific to what you've seen today on the webcast. M means that you would like to have a meeting with us, or Maya, Roger, and so forth, to talk about the automated testing part. I means that you want to introduce us to someone within your organization who would benefit from this. N means that you want to be put on our monthly newsletter, which is focused on a number of things. We have several different newsletters. And then T means that you want to have us talk to a different group about our automated testing and its role via our RPA. So these are the responses that you can have. All of them can apply. You can have more than one outcome. And I believe that we have a couple of questions to be asked. I know we only have 2 minutes, so can we pick one or two questions that have come in?
Sure. Yeah, we've got a couple of questions here. So I mentioned earlier, maybe just to cover
Roger.
the idea of what you can, what levels of support the Automate RPA tool provides. And I did mention you can use this anywhere from an individual's desktop, where they're going to automate maybe their own level of testing or any other process or task that they want to automate, all the way up to enterprise level implementations with full disaster recovery and the ability to maintain a application running with very high availability. So that's one area. Also, the question of APIs. So Maya covered one example API, sending that text message, SMS through Twilio to herself. Obviously, that is an API, and you can do just about any API with RPA, with Automate. In fact, I would say you could, not just about it, would cover any APIs you would want to implement. There are some interfaces beyond APIs to databases and a number of different types of applications that you can implement very quickly. Let's see what else would be.
I think we're out of time at this point, Roger.
Okay, well, we can definitely send along some answers to the other questions.
Yeah, we'll log these other questions. We'll summarize them and answer them for you, and then send them out to everyone who's been on today's webcast. I want to thank Maya for that really cool live demo, and Roger for your insight as well. And for our audience out there, please have safe and happy holidays, and we'll see you on our next webinar. Thank you very much for your time. Have a great day. Bye-bye now.